Well, look what's happened in the past. Like it's really strange when it comes to the Bigfooting world. Everybody would love to be something more than they are. Okay, now if you know these Sasquatch are out there, and you know they're out there, you're basically on the precipice of fame that nobody could even imagine, which is true.
It is,
and it can be intoxicating for some people. All I got to do is prove this, and I'll be in the history books. You may as well be Neil Armstrong walking on the moon.
Could be bigger.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the thing is, there's a lot of people that want that so bad that they become obsessed.
Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. Today I just wanted to share with you guys some footage of a new documentary project I'm working on. So what you're seeing here is a little bit of a sneak peek of a discussion that happened about the Sasquatch topic here in Alberta, featuring none other than Ken Walker. And he is a fan favorite. He's a very smart guy. I would say, as far as Alberta Sasquatch accounts go, he's the most knowledgeable person in the province that I've met so far anyways, when it comes to like anecdotes and actual encounters within the hunting and trapping community. And those are the guys you really want to talk to because they spend a lot of time in these crown land areas that are outside of the parks where there's not a lot of people. They go out in the fall when, you know, we suspect these things are out there transitioning from wherever they are in the summer to where they go in the winter. Because we do get spikes in reports in the spring around like May and then near like the end of October and beginning of November. So I hope you guys enjoy the footage. We're going to let it play through here after a quick message about our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is one of the largest audiobook and podcast websites in the world. They have thousands of titles about anything you can think of, including Sasquatch. If you guys want to get a free audiobook of your choice on any topic, not just Sasquatch, go to audibletrial.com/mountainbeast. Sign up for the 30-day trial and you'll get a credit to which you can use towards one audiobook of your choice. You can keep that audiobook, you get it for free. If you don't like what you're hearing on Audible, you can cancel your 30-day subscription before the 30 days and you still get your audiobook. So go to audibletrial.com/mountainbeast and have a look at their selection.
One of my friends was hunting in Alaska, and he asked about if they had any stories. The same trapper. She says, "You mean Bigfoot? He goes up in the mountains in the winter. He should be coming out any time." And and that's how it is. Like they all gather where those big tree structures are. They say, "Okay, Frank's here. I don't know where Bob is. Maybe something happened to him." They basically gauge who's left, and then when the snows hit, they go. And then the big ones come out and they gather food and bring it back to the females and the smaller ones. Because the trapper says you will not see a small track or a medium track until March.
So they're in a cave or something.
Well, and then we found out there's a big cave up in there, and it's full of animal skeletons, like full.
Yeah.
And and like when I say a cave, they described it as not as big as the Cadman caves, but not a lot smaller. So that's a major cave. There's a lot of I forget how many undiscovered caves they think there is. A lot. And so you know, these guys all want to be the latest person to find a cave, but you got to be really careful because as soon as you discover a cave, like that one they call the Sarlacc pit. Did you hear about that one in BC? Well, when they came out and told everybody about it, the local native band claimed it and no one's allowed to go in it. Now, I would love to go there because it's a natural sinkhole. And if you're ever going to find a Sasquatch skeleton, that's where you're going to find it, down the bottom of that thing. Maybe even saber-tooths. And, you know, there's a lot of prehistoric animals in those things. So, I mean, you know, but right now they're not letting anybody explore it, they're not letting anybody do it. So you have to be real careful. If you find something like that, you have to kind of keep it quiet.
My uncle was in charge of a camp where inmates who have had long incarceration, 20 years, would go for 3 or 4 months to get reconditioned, to have counselors work with them out in the bush. So they're 20 years in jail. They're going to enter back into community, right? So they need to know. They have to get a bank card. You know how? All those types of stuff. Yeah. While they were out there, my uncle said he and the cook went there's a bay close to where their camp is on Gray Slave Lake. They wanted to go, there's a moose always shows up. So they wanted fresh meat, so they're gonna go shoot the moose. So my uncle said, me and the cook went, and the cook was in charge of the motor, the outboard motor, and he was in front with the rifle. And he said, we went out and we're just taking our time. Sure enough, we see the moose, but the wind he can't smell us because it's blowing from him to us. Mm-hmm. So they get there, and so they're not going fast. So the moose can tell by the revs of the engine, right?
Yeah.
So they're not going fast at all. And so they end up coming close, and he told them to kill the motor. So he shut the motor off. It's deep in the water, eating the plants. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to move fast in deep water. So he said, we'll knock him down as soon as he comes on the shore. Then he said, we were just watching him. Beautiful, sunshiny day, blue sky. Then he said something came out of the bushes. Something funny. He said, we looked at it. It had long ears. He said it was a wolf that was walking on two legs.
Dogman. Mm-hmm.
The same thing.
Yeah.
And he said, and the legs, the prints were like between the strides were long, and it was walking on the sand. He said the moment I looked at it, he said it looked at me through the scope. And as soon as he saw us, he said he ran up the hill. And that's kind of a rocky hill. Mm-hmm. From Yellowknife, they have that old Canadian shield. But he said it was like jumping like a rabbit, springing up there, right?
Yeah.
So they forgot, and they lost interest in the moose. He said, we didn't say nothing to nobody. And of course the moose, we just let the moose go and get him another day. But he said they got back to the camp, and he told the cook, don't say nothing. We'll keep it to ourselves. We'll see if anybody sees something. So that would have been around this time of the year, maybe July. In September, when it's time, when the moose is prime and caribou are moving, that's the time you want to nail something. A couple of the inmates wanted to go out and shoot a moose or a caribou, fresh meat. Mm-hmm. So Richard said there's guns there, shells, skinning knife, axe, canoe. So they went out and they came back and they said they didn't get anything. But they said, Richard said they were acting different. So they came back and they said, Richard, can we talk to you? And they said, yeah. He said, I don't believe what we've seen. What have we seen? He said, we've seen a wolf standing up looking at us on two legs.
Yeah.
It was on a hill. And Richard said, I'm glad you guys seen it because we've seen it too.
I talked to one woman down in the States who saw one. She says nothing scared her worse. And she said it was a dogman.
Looked like a wolf? Or...
Yeah. Just exactly like a wolf man.
Yeah,
and with a muzzle and the pointed ears.
Yeah, Richard said the ears were long.
Yeah. You know, they tested that and they didn't know what it was, and they weren't supposed to tell me.
You tested what?
The scat the frozen scat. It was inconclusive, and they wanted to know where I found it and circumstances. I said, "Are you willing to put into writing that it could be what I said it is?" He said, "No," and I said, "Well, what are we talking about then?"
Yeah, you're wasting it.
You know, I know what it is. You don't want to believe me, or you don't want to admit that you know too. I really regret taking that sample into them, because you go into these stupid labs and they'll say, we even tested hair that was purported to be Sasquatch, but it turned out to be buffalo. And I want to go in there and say, what about my sample? Why don't you use my sample as an example? Let me tell all the people here. I brought in Sasquatch DNA. I know it's Sasquatch DNA, and these people didn't know what it was. And so I knew the man. And he questioned me pretty thoroughly, and I told him I'm positive. Just test it. And he says, well, we'll run it through GenBank. Every animal in the world is in there. We'll know what it is. I said, good. I want to know what it is. Turned out to be inconclusive. They didn't know what it was.
But could they give you a breakdown of the?
They could. If they do that, it costs a lot of money. But they didn't. They didn't want me to know anything. The only reason I got the information is because I knew the man personally. Otherwise, I would have never heard of him. See, you know, they know. They have to. If and I tell people, they say, well, how come they haven't done this? How come? I tell everybody, if the creature is real, they know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple, unequivocally. Don't fool yourself. Don't try to fool anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If I can part-time find that it's out there, these guys full-time found out a long time ago. Put freezy on top of it. Well, that'll keep it cold. There it is. This is it. The last 2 bags of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Sasquatch shit. See, the snow is still in there.
Yeah. Wow.
What's that?
Justin better taste this.
You need it? It isn't like that.
No.
Just fine.